So greet your guests, Mama.
Good morning, Facebook. How is everybody doing? I hope wonderful, and I hope you're having a wonderful day already.
So tell us how to prepare. You have folks in Zoom and in Facebook. Let us know who you are, what you're going to do.
Good morning, Facebook and Zoom. What we're doing today, I'm going to be talking about ritual and the benefits and the necessity for ritual, as well as the cosmology that is connected with it. And I'm not being presumptuous, so I would like people to have paper and pencil, or pencil and or pen and paper, just to jot a few notes, not to remember everything, but just to jot a few notes, because I'm going to go through the Daguerre philosophy and spend as little time as I can doing that, and then open it up so that we just free flow and have an exchange with each other, conversation with each other.
Awesome.
All right. My
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
All righty. Mama Amina, you are up.
Yes, good morning. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Amina.
Morning.
And what I'm going to talk about today is ritual. And I need you to have a pen and paper, or a pencil and paper, not to take notes on everything I say, but any thought that might come to your head as I'm speaking, just jot that down, because I am going to give you some background first. And then once I finish that background, then I'm going to open it up and we're going to discuss and do whatever for the rest of the hour. It's going to be an interactive session. So I want to start off by talking about my story. And wait just one moment. Okay. And what happened to me is I was born without fire. Now, what does that mean, born without fire? Fire is the ability to act, to drive, to do, to not procrastinate, to have people, it's the ability to not allow people to just do whatever they feel like doing. It's like taking up for yourself. I was born without that ability. And so that drive that I needed, the action that I needed to take at that time, I didn't have it. And fire comes from without as well as within. The fire that's outside of you is that energy that drives you to your mission, your purpose in life for being here. The fire within draws you to the people that you're supposed to be around to carry out that mission or that gift or that purpose. I was born without that. And so you need fire because you have to live your purpose to the fullest. You have to be in a position not to procrastinate. You have to be in a position to keep people from making you a doormat. And I was basically a doormat. And on top of that, I feared everything. If I had to call somebody on the phone and discuss something that was a little tense, I was fearful. If I had to go out and meet the world, I was fearful of everything. Now, what happened that I didn't have fire? Because that is an unusual thing. Most people are born with fire. What happened is when I was in the spiritual realm, I agreed to come here without fire. Why? Because at the time I was born, there was so much fire. Going back historically, in 1886 was the Berlin Conference in Germany. At that conference, they decided to chop up Africa. And then they went into World War I, the colonial powers did, and fought over what parts of Africa they were going to get. And then after that, they fought with Germany because two of the colonial powers, France and Britain, stole Germany's colonies. So Germany got angry, and that's thus World War II begun. And on top of that, 10 million Russians died at the time of this World War. And then in August 1945, August the 6th, was Hiroshima. An atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. 3 days later, an atomic bomb dropped on Nagasaki. And that's more fire, more bombs, more people killed. And on top of that, three of the most powerful men or leaders died in 1945. One, Mussolini was killed. Two, Hitler committed suicide. Three, Franklin Delano Roosevelt died of a cerebral hemorrhage. And then on top of all this, of course, when you take people into bondage, they're going to naturally fight for their freedom. So as Africa was being colonized, at the same time, it was fighting for liberation. All of this going on at the time I'm coming into this world. So as I'm coming into the world, I decided I can't come with fire. And Malidoma Somé and Sobonfu Somé, both who are ancestors now, told me had I agreed to come into this world with fire, I would have either been consumed or consumed somebody. So I couldn't come in here with fire. So thus, because I had to have fire, I had to do rituals. That is the solution. What is a ritual? And a ritual is like a rites, but the etymology of the words is religious rites, like a rites of passage. And Malidoma told me, you've got to do some rituals to gain fire. because otherwise you won't be able to live your purpose in the right way. So one of the rituals I had to do was go on a Native American vision quest. And I had to do a lot of rituals before even going on the vision quest. And I did 2 vision quests at separate times. One was in Missouri, one was in Sedona, Arizona. I will key into the one at Sedona, Arizona. The one in Missouri, I spent 4 days and 3 nights out by myself in the woods. The one in Sedona, because the vortex was so much higher, I spent 3 days and 2 nights. And when you go on a vision quest, you have no protection. You have no tent. You have no mace. You have no coat and hat and gloves and boots. And you have no food or no water. You are out there in the open space. I was on a mountain in Sedona. It was like 2,000 or 3,000 feet above sea level. And I'm out here by myself. Again, you are not allowed to have anything on a vision quest, except I was able to have a sleeping bag. But as far as protection and all of that, nada. And we prepared using what is called spiritual ties, which are some little pieces of cloth that you say a prayer into and tie it after putting some Native American tobacco in it. And then it goes around a tree and you're inside of the prayer ties, you're encircled by them. Now, the only other thing I had other than those prayer ties was a long Native American pipe that I was given by the indigenous person who led the vision quest. And I was given this pipe because you were not allowed to sleep. So you had to smoke this Native American organic strong tobacco to stay awake the whole time. The only problem for me is I had never smoked anything. So here I'm sitting up with this long pipe, trying to light it. And that was a challenge. And every time I would light it, and I had matches, the matches would go out because it was raining at the time. And of course, you don't have any cover to protect you from the elements. You're just in the elements. After 45 minutes, I finally got this long pipe lit. And I thought I was good to go. Not knowing how to smoke, I just imitated what I saw people do when they smoked a pipe. So I took this big puff, never smoking before, and this strong organic tobacco, and my head started spinning and I fell back and knocked myself out from that one puff. And so I laid there for a while. I wasn't asleep or unconscious, but I couldn't get up. So much for trying to smoke a pipe. So I stayed out there. And then the next day, after I was out there the first day, the next day, 2 coyotes came up to me. One was black, one was white. And they ran up to me, and then one went to the right and one went to the left. And that was the end of the coyotes. And the only other thing I was really bothered with, there were different, because I was in a desert, there were different kinds of animals that were crawling around, little creepy crawlers. That wasn't the problem. The biggest pest was some flies and mosquitoes. So I managed to stay out there and get visions and do prayers. And all I did was hold on to the pipe. I wasn't going to try to smoke it again because I may have fallen off the mountain. So I just held on to the pipe so it would remind me that I had to stay awake. When I finished that vision quest, as well as the one in Missouri, I had no fears. I had some fire. And it was enough fire to keep people from making me a doormat. And uncannily, when I gained fire, even though I don't have it like other people do, it's amazing how many people were comfortable with me being a doormat, because it's like, we're not used to her saying anything to us. And I really didn't still know how to say things in a correct manner. It was just coming out as fire as opposed to logic. But I did it. And so I was proud of that. And that was one benefit of ritual, having fire that I didn't have, which means I could then begin to live my purpose to the fullest. And there's one other benefit. There's tons of benefits from rituals, but one other benefit I want to show you is my house. If you could put on the slide that says my story.
Yes. Before we go there, because you actually declared the story earlier, so the house was posted, and I will post it again. But I just want to pause you because you're generating a lot, and fire is present in that, and folks are fired up to share. So I'm curious about those who are familiar with some of the ritual that you just described, and something else that you shared. Or if anybody has had a vision quest in the space, that we can just invite the community to co-create in the space with you. So anybody in the space that is familiar with the vision quest experience that was shared in the space so powerfully by Mama Amina, or can relate, maybe you've gotten feedback about the absence of an element, in this case, the absence of fire for her, and just her experience of moving through that. So Mama Mal has her hand up. Mama Mal, if you could unmute yourself and possibly come on camera, it's up to you.
Wow, Amina, I did not know you had done a vision.
Yeah, I did 2 of them.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I think the spirit wanted me to do it. And I never did pursue it. I don't think lack of fire is my issue.
Exactly.
but I am just awed. A friend of mine who is part Indian talked about having done, a vision quest. And I was just so impressed with her. And I went home that night and I dreamt that she was doing a vision quest, and somehow I betrayed her in that, because I knew that there was just something there with us. And when I realized that in a past life, I had betrayed her, either her or someone who was on a vision quest, I was just so apologetic, or whatever I needed to forgive myself for it. But I am just taken back to the point of feeling emotional about that you had experienced that. I am just blown away. I never knew that. All these years that I've known you, I've never known that. And thank you for sharing that.
Oh, and thank you for sharing that. Yes.
All right. Anyone else in the space has had the experience of vision quest or ritual? There was a question that was asked earlier, and now I can't, not remembering it. You asked the question of the community earlier, but anybody else want to share before we move on? And I will definitely put up this house and have you move forward with the story, the additional story that you have to share, because you just lit up the space by the story that you did share. All right.
And this is just an extension of the story. It's the same story. I was just, wanted to share one other thing about it.
Okay, awesome. Carry on. There you go.
Okay, so if you could put up that video that says my story, that slide rather, that says my story.
Oh.
Great, that one right there. What I wanted to say briefly is that the gaining the fire was a spiritual or non-tangible manifestation of the benefits of ritual. I wanted to share a physical manifestation with you. The picture that you're looking at is a picture of my house. I paid $500 for this house through doing ritual. This is a benefit of ritual, $500. I was led into these rituals once again by my spiritual leader who just made his transition of 31 years. And with me being a protege of his. And then So Boneful, his wife, she made her transition 4 years ago. Yeah. And so I got this house for $500. It was totally stripped. The Greek columns had been stolen, so the porch roof had fallen down and there were no columns. So all that was replaced. And the beauty about the ritual is that it puts you in the right place at the right time with the right people, because it moves the energy fast enough so that you can get the particular intent or goal done. And I want to hold up just a few more pictures, and then I'm going to acknowledge this chat. This is my house. And this, I was able to give my pumpkin pie grandnieces a royal tea party right at my house. And this is the horse and carriage that they're getting into in front of my house. And here they're sitting on my wraparound porch. Again, this was a $500, I only paid $500 for it. And I had the etiquette consultant ask the horse and carriage riders or drivers to take my nieces a few blocks over, because the Berry Gordy mansion is less than a mile from me. That's how Detroit is. It's got regular 3 and 4 bedroom homes and then mansions or mini mansions. So I was able to manifest these benefits through ritual. Now, can somebody, Chantel, can you read that chat for me? What is somebody asking me? Because I have to move my computer closer.
Yeah, one of the questions, there's not a lot in the chat, just everyone is kind of mesmerized by what you're sharing, but there was a question about whether there is an opportunity to do vision questing within a sweat lodge structure or ritual.
Okay, very good question. There's always a chance for vision quest. Just like 3 or 4 years ago, Jorge Arnavar, who was my leader, he's Lakota Indian, and he is the one who led the vision quest. But now he's up in age and he's not doing it. But if you visit sweat lodges, and if people aren't familiar with sweat lodges, all you have to do is go online and look them up and find out who is giving sweat lodges, because those are precursors or prerequisites to going on a vision quest. If you do enough of those rituals, it will prepare you for a vision quest, being out on your own, because just like a woo every morning, it does certain rituals and prepares you and releases all those types of rituals prepare you for a more radical ritual. You see? So so what I would suggest, if you're interested in doing a vision quest, because the main purpose of a vision quest is to get a vision about your purpose. It's all about your purpose and your vision, and or going more deeply into your purpose, or eliminating things that block your purpose. So you look up where you can go on vision, on sweats. You do these sweats, they're very powerful. They're all fire rituals. Some people run out of the tent because the fire is so intense. I was like very comfortable in all those sweats because I didn't have the fire. So it was like I wasn't feeling, anything until it got really intense. So, but what I would really suggest, if you're going to do a vision quest, then do it the first with Native Americans who conduct it. Always go to the source first. If you want some good collard greens, go to my friend in Shombe Famadu, or, go to the source, because they know the ins and outs. And the reason I'm saying that is because a few years back, somebody conducted a vision quest. They weren't Native American, and they knew a whole lot about vision quests. I can't take it away from them. But what happened is somebody died during the vision quest. And one of the reasons is because, in the sweat, rather, I'm sorry. They died in the sweat because they didn't have the right materials and they were toxic. And I asked my Native American leader of the sweats and the vision quest, I said, what happened? He just summarized it, wrong materials. See, so it's always good to do something first with the people who are more familiar with it. And there's another chat now, I think.
There are actually a lot of shares in the chat, but I will share, and I know a couple of people in the space who have engaged in the sweat lodge and that sort of ritual, and I am one of them too. Mama Amina, I've done many, many sweat lodges. I've done with E.R. Robin, who's in the space, the Uweepi ceremony where we did the ties, the prayer ties with the tobacco, and then we went in and we did rounds of the sweat lodge. We've done it with Carl Big Heart, and I used to be a member of a church in Brooklyn, and we did everything at that church. I'm like, when I think about it being called a Baptist church, it's really misnamed. But I've walked on fire there, done more sweat lodges than I can remember. Yeah, we did numerology, all kinds of stuff there. But my experiences with the sweat lodges have just been phenomenal. I experienced myself being back in the womb with my mother, because there was a lot to restore in reference to our disconnect, because she was so depressed when she was carrying me, when she was pregnant, restoring that, the ancestors, I start to channel in that space, so it's a lot of energy, but I've always wanted to do a vision quest and not pursued it. So you're just opening up the way for me to take that on, maybe for 2022, stepping into that next level, and then also doing plant medicine ceremonies. So thank you so much for just your guidance and support in this space and just all that you shared. I see the look on your face. What's happening?
Now, see, when you're saying plant medicine, you better be the facilitator of this, because now I want to know about that. We have
Yeah, we can do it together. So I'll definitely talk to you.
If you've done all that, you've almost been on a vision quest. The only thing you haven't done is just be out there.
Yes.
And under the leadership of the same person who did that, and they do Sundance. It's a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But once you do all those rituals, especially those sweats, they really prepare you. They really do prepare you. Are there any other comments about the vision quest or anything I've said so far?
Yes, we have.
Well, good morning. Oh, I'm sorry.
Who's speaking?
Mama Shombe.
Okay, carry on, Mama.
Hey, Amina, love you, love you, love you. And everybody else who I know, good morning, Grand Rising. And I am just So excited. I don't even know where to begin to share, to talk about my dear friend here, Amina, who definitely, one thing about Amina is she is so encouraging, really. And at some point she said to me, we were talking about rituals. She said, and Shombe, you're doing rituals. I was like, huh? She said, remember you did. So she started citing these examples. I'm like, oh, okay. Which really just caused me to really intentionally think about rituals, the importance of it. I knew intuitively there was something that made me want to do this. Every Kwanzaa, when we got together, folks used to say, oh, that's that teacher in Shombe. But it probably was, but it was more than that. It was spirit saying, you're going to do these rituals. At least that's what Amina told me. But anyway, I've been on that path. And it's beautiful. I can testify about some changes. And I think one of my friends down here in Atlanta, Mama Jackie, is on the phone, on the call. One time we all got together as a sisterhood and we went to this sister's house. And I mean, it was like, go ahead, just create, do what you have to do. So because of her, I designed this ritual for this sister. Jackie, you on? Maybe she could tell
Yes,
you how this ritual just took this sister to the next level.
it
And I'm
took,
like, oh
yes.
my goodness. So we have been intentionally doing rituals under Amina's guidance. I love you for it. It has changed my life.
Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you for that testimonial. And I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that. And I remember that sister healing and going to the next level. And I'm thinking about this plant medicine and all those sweats and all that. It just takes me back. And I had a nephew who was incarcerated. And he was incarcerated in a place where there were Native Americans who were incarcerated. And he did sweats with them and ended up getting out of incarceration 2 years earlier than what he was supposed to, doing those rituals. So rituals work, rituals work, rituals work. So, so now, what is ritual? Ritual, the etymology of the word is Latin, and it means rites, like rites of passage. And the definition of ritual is a series of exercises that are performed. Now, what makes ritual different from any other practice or exercise? Like, what makes ritual different from a ceremony or from a habit or from a practice that you do every day? There are 4 components to ritual. Number 1, you start with a prayer of invocation, or you invoke spirit. In the church, they say prayer of invocation. Then you prepare for the ritual. Then you do the ritual. And then you end up with a prayer of thanks, and you say amen or ashe. Both amen and ashe both mean may it be so. One is just a later date. The ashe comes before the amen. And so that's the difference. Whereas a wedding is a ceremony. Why is a wedding a ceremony? Because it is a planned outcome. Ritual, you have an intent. It's just that you don't know how it's going to play out, because you have invited spirit. Spontaneity kicks in. So it could play out any kind of way. You may have a ritual saying, I sure wish I have some money. And you end up with a man, next door who you've been knowing for 100 years, marrying him, and with some money. You see, where is a ceremony like a wedding? The reason it is not a ritual is because it is a planned outcome. You go in there with the intent of getting married, and you get married. That's how it plays out with "Oh, Promise Me" or whatever you sing or say. So that's the difference. Ritual, you invoke spirit or have a prayer of invocation or prayer of intent, and then you prepare the ritual, you do the ritual, and then you end with a prayer. Those are the 4 components of a ritual. Does anybody have any comment or questions about what ritual is, or just comments?
Yeah, this is really, really powerful because I know there has been a lot of confusion about the difference between habit, practice, ceremony, ritual. And what I will say, I just did officiated a marriage ceremony several weeks ago, and I did ritual inside of the ceremony. So, just there can be like this injection of ritual inside of ceremonial things. And that just came to me as you were speaking, calling on the ancestors, and it unfolded the things I said and what we ended up doing later on in the process. It was not part of it, but the ancestors spoke and said, do this, do that, say this or that with the couple. So what I had written down and structured ended up expanding and evolving and blessing the community and blessing me. So I love what you're saying. And I would love to hear from others who may have gotten some clarity about what they thought was ritual or what they declared was not, based on just the definition that you provided. There was also a question in the space. There's a couple actually. Someone asked how long are vision quests, 1 day or 1 week or somewhere in between. And then another question came in, when you say prepare for the ritual, how do you do that?
Okay. Let's, how like Catholic churches as well as other churches have communion?
Yes.
That's a ritual. Because anytime you walk into a church or a temple or wherever, they invoke spirit or have a prayer of invocation. That's just straight standard. That begins that ritual. But whoever is responsible for pouring that wine in those cups and breaking up those crackers, they're preparing the ritual.
Sure.
Okay. And then the ritual is done by them taking the communion. And at the end, they say, Amen. See, that's a ritual. Okay. So what I mean by preparing the ritual is whatever you're doing. Let's say like the Wu community in the morning, when we cleared, before we cleared, I had already said a prayer of invocation. We had already invited spirit into the situation. And then we prepared because I was told, okay, this is what we do and this is how we do it. And they modeled. That's preparation. And then we cleared. And then I said a prayer, Amen and Ashe, and so that in and of itself is a ritual. So you prepare for whatever the tools that are needed to carry out that particular act or performance.
Ashe. All righty. So there is a question from Chantel. She said, what do you say to people who may be uncomfortable, nervous about the word ritual? To individuals who may be hesitant because words like ritual, spirit, ancestors, things like that create something in them that is low vibrational, or they've been taught that this is unacceptable. And I was saying to Chantel earlier that what was mentioned a lot when I was growing up was what was demonic, things that being demonic. So what do you say, Mama, when this comes up?
And actually, I have that conversation in my book on common daily ritual practices. What do you say about ritual? And what I did in the book is reminded people, number one, if you've ever been in a church, it's one big ritual.
Yes.
You are doing rituals. Now, whatever you choose to call it, go to the definition. That's why etymology and definition of words is so important. And if you ever speak with Africans like Dr. Theophil Obenga, who is a linguist, he says any conversations, you always start with the etymology of that word and then give the definition. Just like I've taught math for 40 years. People are uncomfortable with math, but if you give the etymology and the definition, it kind of cools people out. The etymology of the word math is learning by inquiry. It's a Greek word, any subject. It doesn't just mean calculations. It could be dance, performing, learning how to be a facilitator on Woo. You are learning by asking questions or inquiry. And the definition of math is the right method for learning all there is to know all mysteries and all things in nature. That takes it away from calculations. So if you give them the etymology of the word, it means religious rites or rites of passage, like what the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts go through. And then if you give them the definition, a series of performances. When you walk in a church, they're playing that organ, that piano. They invoke spirit. They do more rituals than the law will allow, just walking in a church. And remind them of how much money the Catholics have. The Catholics have money. The Vatican is rich and it's got all kinds of things in there. Everything is a ritual. Go to the Muslims. They have Ramadan and Eid, and they do giveaways. And somebody said there was a Muslim here in Detroit who had this store, and everybody had moved away. There was all kinds of things going on, gentrification. He still had the store. And I said, you pray 5 times a day and do giveaways like Eid and Ramadan. You fasting for 30 days until sundown and going to Juma. That's rituals. And everybody that go into a beauty salon and let it be an Asian beauty salon. Can anybody tell me what they have observed? Who do they have as a statue in those?
Buddha. And they, yes,
Buddha.
And they're sitting there with a bottle of wine and some water and some fruit. And there's this one shop in Detroit, they've got so many altars around that shop and they get more people coming to that shop. The places, anytime you see things open and running up, is because they've done rituals. And so you have to give them the etymology, the definition, and then point out how rituals are being done. And one other thing, not to belabor the point, but you have to remind people that we have to get away from thinking negatively about African terminology. And a lot of the terminology is something that was put upon Africa by colonial powers, like a hut. That's a chalet. In Africa, it's not a hut. And we call them tiny houses here. And if you see the Ndebele so-called huts, they are just outstanding. They're chalets and they serve every function. So why is a chalet called a hut? Why is a ritual that you do in the Catholic Church or rites of passage that you do, why is it called dark or demonic? So you have all of this terminology. So we have to begin to introduce people to methodology of language. That's what we have to do. And examples. We have to back it up. And then, and from there, if they're not open, just keep on doing what you're doing, and people will ask you what's happening with you. You don't even have to beat it down the throat. They're going to say, well, how did you get your nephew out of jail? Ha! Let me tell you, honey, Yeah, so you have to begin to dispel the negative things around ritual.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mama Amina. Yeah. This is actually very timely. We are going into the 7-day ritual that Shawnee is going to be hosting. And so I find myself inviting guests, and that's why I posed that question. Some people are a little hesitant because they're, scared of the word ritual and spirits and things like that. So it really helps to clarify what ritual is so that I can tell more people so that they too can experience the benefits of ritual and not be afraid of those things that maybe they heard growing up or from other people, but immerse themselves into that. And for example, on Woo, I've done like the shmoney cleanses and showing people how to get into ritual around their money and release any blockages that they might have around that. So that's ritual. When we cut the cord together, that's ritual, So I've been doing rituals this whole time, and people who might be fearful have been doing them with me as well. So I'm now understanding that that's what that is, and can let them know, you cut the cord with me, that's ritual. You want to get more shmoney, we do these cleanses, you're already in ritual.
And more
So that's
shmoney
helpful.
comes too.
Yes. Yeah. So that's very helpful for me. Thank you so much for clarifying this. You are clearly an expert on ritual, and I really appreciate the information that you're dropping.
Okay, thank you so
And
much.
Chantel, I just want to say that was also what was helpful for me with embracing this whole notion of doing rituals was Amina pointing out to me so that I can point out to others, look, rituals, they're a part of our lives. You can call it, I'm not hung up on words like that. We don't even have to call it that. Let's call it the whatever it is you do.
Right.
Okay. Let's not get hung up on the words. Because, even in our community, we get hung up. Negro, African, this, that. Let's try to move beyond the words and get into what it is that we're doing.
Right.
So that has really been helpful. And that one about communion, I was going to mention that before she mentioned it, and just pointing that one out, because most of us in our community have experienced communion. And we down with communion for sure. We're going to be there first Sunday. And it's still practiced. That in itself is a ritual that we have to practice it on the first Sunday. In my church right now, they have moved it because of COVID. We only meet on the second Sunday, and they're doing it. And folks are saying, no, that ain't the ritual. They don't say the word ritual. That's not the practice. We do it on the first Sunday. So yes, point it out. I do. I point it out to everybody. I sometimes don't even use the word ritual. I'm just pointing out how it is that we move energy.
That's right.
Asante Amina.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
And I remember Brother Sykes used to sing, get up and sing during that communion ritual. Let us break bread together on our knees. When I fall down on my knees with my face to the rising sun, oh Lord, have mercy on me. And hey, everybody got up and gave money after that. That spirit was invoked. I think something else was in the chat. I'm wondering how much time do we have, because I have to make 2 more very important points, but what time is it now?
Yeah, we're good to go. We got you. So we have 9 minutes until 8, and then we'll make the announcement. But there was a hand up in the space, and I'll read what Jacqueline has placed in the chat, and then we'll hear from, and Zawadi and Fatima. We have quite a few shares, and then we'll hear from Teresa. All right.
And I need to make those 2 important points too. In between.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right. No problem. But the 8 o'clock is just an announcement. We have until 8:30 in the space. So you have time for sure. So we got you. No need to work hard. All right. So we have, what I shared is in my Rites of Passage program, or the Rites of Passage program. I don't take ownership. I'm just the vessel. B, the tree, we do ritual throughout the entire journey. Every session opens with ritual and closes with ritual, and the curriculum is infused with ritual. Fatima said, what a powerful session. I am blown away by Mama's experience, clarity, and teaching. Zawadi shared that Asians will always have their altars openly. Many of our people steeped in Christianity think altars are demonic, yet these same folk will unknowingly have ancestral altars. Absolutely. Jacqueline, my mother had statues of saints, pictures of Jesus, money trees, and money candles. She follows the rituals of the Catholic Church, including collecting palms, keeping rose water, etc. My whole life has been steeped in ritual. Fish on Fridays, no meat. I did not know it was so important. I thought my mother was just superstitious. All right. And then someone said, and I can't tell who it is, but directed to me, Shani did a ritual for a friend that helped to release her from jail. Remind me of that, because I don't remember that one. But I've done so much ritual over the course of these last 30 years. I'm like, I don't remember, but I'll take it. Yes. So yeah. So Teresa had her hand up, and then we're going to move to your other 2 points. So Teresa, you ready?
Yes, hi, good morning. Thank you for this conversation, Mama Amina. The thing that I wanted to say today was that I feel like I've been experiencing a lot lately where I've been saying yes to situations, like my ritual. I have a ritual of saying yes when I want to say no. And I was just trying to figure out how can I break that, that ritual and feel comfortable. Because like I had a couple instances yesterday where someone asked me to do something and I automatically said yes. And when I thought about it, I said no. And so I changed my mind. I said, no, I can't do it because I already, have something, in place. So that was the first, that was like, I've been saying no to things, but I just feel like me, like being in spaces, sometimes I'll stay in a space that's negative and I'll stay too long. And I was just trying to figure out how can I break that ritual of just, staying when I know that I'm uncomfortable, and I'm complete.
Okay. That's lack of fire. Lack of fire.
Mm.
And there are rituals. You don't have to do a vision quest, but there are rituals to do so that you are not sacrificing your own purpose for somebody else's desires or whatever it is they want to do. We are a community and collective. We work best in groups, but we are also individuals. And we have to live our individual purposes for the good of the group. And if you're always saying yes, it is going to eventually wear you out. So you have to do a fire ritual. And when I go into the next points, I'll mention something. I can't get into the real details of which rituals, but number one, in Shombe and she drafts her own rituals, but I can give you some information for a fire ritual. That's what that is, lack of fire. Okay.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
Okay. All righty. So you are ready for, we have hands up. Everybody is lit up about the conversation. So Robin, Robin, unmute yourself, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for this conversation. Shani always waking somebody up. I've tried to get up for these all the time, but I'm grateful that I was able to hear as much as I did about ritual. And what I wanted to share, what I share with people is that my life is a ritual. So my business is called The Right Step. And because of my own personal journey and my own healing experience, these downloads come to me, and that was the title, but also the concept downloaded to me on what I am working towards in healing myself, but also how I would be healing people. So the Right, RITE step is about a series of workshops, and not workshops that contain ritual. Everything I do is ritualistic. Where I get concerned and sometimes annoyed is when people use the word and the concept of ritual loosely. And they just think that they did one ritual and they can create and create and create and do whatever. And I'm not saying that it would not be ritualistic if they created, if it's downloaded to them, but it's become a mainstream conversation that I feel needs to have more responsibility, especially when I am talking about, we're invoking spirit in everything we do. And just in relation to what Teresa is saying, I love the way you answered her. And it could be a ritual that you're always saying no to something, but it also could be that there's need for your personal development, and the ritual will come from the work that is being done on how to get the fire. The ritual will come. So the ritual may not necessarily be that you're saying no, but the work to get to the healing and to the transformation part. I hope I'm making sense. It's downloaded. Yeah. So I wanted to put my sleepy voice in the space and share that, rituals can be downloaded to just about anybody. I love ritual. I love ceremony that comes with ritual. And thank you for raising awareness of the importance of it, and and raising the awareness of how spirituality is. You didn't say it, but I heard it beneath what you were saying. Spirituality is actually not religion, but there is spirituality in religion. And when we embrace that spiritual aspect of ourselves, that we are the eachness of the allness of God, everything will continue to come back together. And the oneness that we're seeking, whether through ritual or just through our own experiences, will elevate us all. And I am complete. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Ashe.
Yeah.
Ashe.
Yeah. But
So-
Mama, before you move on, let me really quickly say that we're approaching the 8 o'clock hour. And for some, this means they have to transition off because they have to go to work or do something else, take children to school. So if you have been in this space, engaging in this powerful conversation, and you do have to transition off, we encourage you to watch the playback on our Facebook page, to check back in, to, just stay connected to this energy, because we engage in the conjuring up of fire and other elements in the space because of what Mama Amina brought into the space. So have an awesome day. We will drop her contact information into the chat so you can have that and be in touch beyond this session. So thank you so much. We love you, and peace. So carry on, Mama.
Okay, so someone led me into the next topic by saying that they say yes when they really mean no. And it ends up, interfering with the space that they need for their purpose. So the next topic I want to talk about is cosmology and its relationship with ritual. Next slide, please.
Right, 1 second. I'm over here multitasking. Let me make sure. And you can start speaking about it. I will put it
okay. So somebody talked about how they say yes when they mean no. Well, ritual, the way in which you decide what ritual you should do is based on 5 elements. And those elements come from the cosmology of the Dagara people of West Africa. First, what is cosmogony? Cosmogony is in people's belief system on how we got here. It's like the Big Bang Theory, or how was the world created? That's the cosmogony, a particular belief system. And cosmology is the study of that particular belief system. In Dagara cosmology, there are 5 elements. If you look at this picture, it's a volcano. And in mathematics, I've always got to go into math. I taught it for 40 years. A volcano, which is in the shape of a cone, is a pyramid. A cone is a form of a pyramid that has so many sides to it that it appears to have a roundedness to it. But a cone or anything conical shaped is actually a pyramid. So when I had this artist on Fiverr draw this pyramid, I said, I want you to make a pregnant pyramid because the cosmology is the creation story. And this is the creation story. And it's likened to a volcano. Think of a volcano, what happens? And that's what happens in creation. First, there's a body of fire, which we call lava. And then this lava spews out and drops into water. So the first element is fire. It is the primordial element of origin. It is the connection between the spirit world or the spirit ancestral realm and this physical world. So fire is the element of origin. Then it encounters this body of water. And then together, when the water cools down the fire, they form earth, which is that cone. And then and as it's cooling down more, it spits out rocks called minerals. So now we have fire, then it encounters water, which is the second element. Then it forms earth, which is the third element. And then it spits out rocks, which is mineral, the fourth element. And then finally, it's ripe for life. And if you look at a volcano, you'll see plant life sticking out because that, plant life is a result of that rich soil that's formed from that fire and water. And in Japanese cosmology, they say that chlorophyll is just that the animal kingdom, which means humans and animals, is just mutated chlorophyll. So that is the creation story. Fire, which is part of the spirit world, and it's the mediator between that and the physical world, primordial element, it's there. And that's what happens with the volcano. Encounters water, cools down, forms earth, cools and spits out rocks, cools down some more, and forms life. So that's where the 5 elements come from: fire, water, earth, mineral, nature. And there are certain qualities of those 5 elements, and those qualities determine what ritual you do. So the primordial element, fire, anybody whose last digit in their birth year is a 2 or a 7 is a fire person. Fire is the ability to act, to dream, to do. It's the mediator between this world and that world. It's warmth and love and kindling. And it takes 2 sparks to get fire started. 2 sparks, it takes 2 to tango. If you're out in the woods in a rites of passage, you need 2 kindling pieces. And that's why fire starts with a 2. And the Dagara's numerical base system is 5. They have those 5 elements. They only have 5 days to their weeks. Their numerical system starts off and repeats itself to 5. They have 5 men on the Council of Elders. 1 is fire, 1 is water, 1 is earth, 1 is mineral, 1 is nature. They have 5 women. 1 is fire, 1 is water, 1 is earth, 1 is mineral, and 1 is nature. So everything is in terms of 5. So the 2 is fire. And when you add 5, because the next cycle, you get 7. So fire is 2, 7. Warmth, kindling, dream imagery, etc. And fire people are the ones who get things started. They have that strong imagery, dream imagery. They see into the future. What comes out of the mouth of a fire person is like money in the bank, because they have a direct connection to God or the ancestors or the spirit world. So they are the voice and the mouth of the spirit world. And their purpose, because they're the visionaries, they are to warn you of what's coming, because they see in the future. And then there's water. Water is a 1 and a 6. Anybody whose last digit in their birth year is a 1 or a 6 is a water person. Why is water a 1? Because it flows. It doesn't take anything. It will flow singly. And why is it a 6? Because the next cycle, 1 + 5 is 6. So water is 1 and 6. Water people are the peacemakers. They bring focus and clarity and peace and grief and regestation and reconciliation and shape shifting. They make you woke, alert, and aware of what's going on. And that's why this year, which is the year of water, why people are leaving jobs, they're saying, wait a minute, I'm either going to define how I want to work on this job, or I'm doing my own thing. They're even calling this year the Great Resignation, because this water year has made more people woke and alert to what's going on. Then there's earth. Earth is 0 and 5. In the Dagara way, that 0 represents wholeness. Anybody whose last digit in their birth year is a 0 or 5 is an earth person. Earth person want to see to it that everybody has everything they need. That's where your prosperity comes from. And they bring forth groundedness, rootedness, a sense of home, and identity in terms of your phenotype. In the Dagara way, there's 2 types of identity. One, what do you look like and who do you identify with on the outside? So earth people are the nourishers. And then, and the 0 represents groundness. When you add 5, earth is 0 and 5. Then you have mineral. Mineral people, 4 and 9. Anybody whose last digit in their birth year is a 4 or a 9 is a mineral person. They are the keeper of the memory. They are the artists and the historians, and they keep that memory through the fine and performing arts. They act, they sing, they dance, they write, they speak, they play instruments or dance, and the spoken word. They are the mineral people, and they keep the history in that way. So they're 4, and 4 + 5 is 9. And in the Dagara community, that 4 represents the female, because she has 4 parts to her female organs. So it's a 4 represents a female, although I can't really get into it. It's a actually at the same time a masculine energy, but that's a whole nother story. But 4 + 5 is 9, and the reason that 4 is representing mineral is 4 because it's the woman who creates, and it's the man that protects that which is created. And all of these elements have a masculine component and a feminine. And then the last one after mineral, and they are the community drivers and the conduits. They are so community based. And then the last element is nature. Nature people are the transformers and changers. That's 3 and 8. That 3 nature, we talk about Mother Nature, but it has a masculine component too. And 3 in the Dagara community represents the male because he has 3 sex organs. And you add 3 and 5, and that's 8. So nature is 3 and 8. They are the transformers and changers. They're the witches in a good way. They're magical, they're mystical. They feel into the present. They have strong intuition. And you can't put anything on them. They are the most misunderstood element, but they transform and change and take people to the next level. And because we're not really open to change, nature people will make you change. And that's why they're the jokesters and the tricksters. They will trick you into change because we don't, change is painful. And so nature people are there to help push you into change. So those are the 5 elements. So like the sister who was saying, yes, she needs a fire ritual because she needs to be able to say no. And she needs to go to a sweat lodge. That one time, that ritual, you'll come out of there saying, hell no. So that's one ritual you can do. And then finally, why are rituals so powerful? Because you're invoking spirit. You're not just asking for Bebe and Ray Ray to come and help you. You're asking for the whole cosmos to come. You're inviting them in for help. So you got energy that's moving you to the right place at the right time with the right people so that you can accomplish your intention or your goal or alleviate some of the yeses when you mean no. So ritual is your browser. It's your fast speed internet. It's your megabyte, your gigabyte, your yottabyte, which I think is the highest bytes. It moves that energy quicker than anything else. And Molly Doma said that last slide, or it was the next to the last slide, failure, I want people to see it. Failure to do ritual is what got us into slavery. Failure to do ritual is what got us into slavery because we don't know what was happening. Maybe people were too upset or, grieving or whatever. But when you don't do ritual, what happens is you begin to take on somebody else's ways or just accept whatever is happening because you're not using that energy to get to your intent. So failure to do rituals is what got us into slavery. And you better believe those people who got their freedom and from being colonized, et cetera, and got money that they needed or whatever it was they needed, a mate, a partner, a business, whatever, is because they did the rituals. And like my sis and Shombe said, call it what you want, but invoke spirit, prepare that, whatever you want to call it. In my case, ritual, do the ritual and end with the prayer of Amen or Ashe. Ashe is just an older form of it. So those are the elements. And the last thing I want to say is that we are not here on a vacation. We're not tourists here. When we left that spirit world, we agreed to come here to help heal this world. The spirit world, if we want to call it a perfect world, the antagonist is this world, the imperfect world. Everything has an antagonist. What has a front has a back. What has an up has a down. What has an in has an out. What has a masculine has a feminine. So if we look at spirit as the perfect world, then there's an imperfect world that needs healing. And that's why we come here. We're not on vacation. And that last slide, please, it shows a truck with a gift. We come here, we sign a contract. And so we bring a gift here. We bring a purpose here. We're not on vacation. We're here to live the purpose. And you see that truck there? That's your gift. And that truck is on a mission to 49 Community Way. 49 is community or mineral. And so where it's on a mission. And where's that gift going to be delivered? To your community. What community? The one that is the receptive audience to receive your gift. That's why you got to have that fire, because that fire from the outside is going to lead you on to your purpose, and the fire from within inside is going to connect you with that right community. But the fire on the outside drives that purpose. So you're on a mission to deliver that gift to the right community. And in order to continue to in balance and make that life your mission, so you don't have to keep coming back here to complete it, you must do rituals. Ashe.
Listen, you did that. I love it. I love it. We love it. So we want to hear from Mama Mal, and then I know others in the space have some things they want to share. So Mama, if you could unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm here. Wow. That was just so powerful, Mama Amina. So listen, question. So I'm a 4-9. And so, community, and I love.
And you are, just not to interrupt, but you are a 4 or a 9. Right,
that's right. So I'm a 4.
Yes, the last digit in your birth year is
that's
4.
Right.
You are a mineral person. If you last digit, you would still be mineral. Yes, you are a 4.
Yes, ma'am. And the artist, I sing, used to shakare and dance and tell stories and sing with my comedy, the whole 9 yards. So that was right on. But listen, my question is, so when we did this work with our young in the community, when you came out and spoke conversations with our daughters, and we did that, I found that when I did the whole chart, I had a lot of fire. It wasn't well balanced. So now, if you're saying that fire is required in order to do my purpose, I was thinking that having too much fire was not good, even though I don't think anything is not good, was not as serving. Let me rephrase that. Was not as well serving. So can you explain that part of it?
Sure. See, everything has to be in balance. See, all of those elements that I mentioned are in all of us. It's just that only one contains the genetic code for the who that you are, and you're a mineral person. So if you have too much fire in that chart, in that medicine wheel chart, it's got the shallow side of fire. Not that you would do this, are those Nagasaki, Hiroshima, World War I and II, or screaming and hollering at somebody. Everybody has their blow up times, but they can't do that all the time, you see. So, or even if you're not screaming and hollering, if too much fire is speed, and so you miss messages that the ancestors are steady trying to give you for your purpose. So what do you think? You tell me what you need if you got too much fire.
Listen, to slow down.
Yes. What do you need? Which element?
To control my anger. I don't do it as much anymore, but there are times when I've just had it up to here and said, all right, and then I let loose. So I recognize both of that. And so that is the fire in me that's creating that. And it doesn't create a peaceful, wholesome environment for me when I do those things. So I got it.
So what elemental ritual would you do?
I have not.
Fire, there's only 5 elements: fire, water, earth, mineral, nature.
I would say water. I would have to.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd have to.
You get an A, honey.
Thank you.
You need water rituals.
Thank you, Miss Johnson.
Beautiful. All
And,
right.
and one of the things Amal was alluding to is there is an African medicine wheel that goes with that cosmology. And based on your name and when you were born, you can tell your balances and imbalances in terms of your elements. That's what she's referring to.
All right. Awesome. So we have a comment from Zawadi. Zawadi, you ready? And then we have a Friye who wants to share as well.
Okay, and the
Greetings.
giveaways, when are we gonna do that?
Oh, that comes later when we close out. Remember I said we got you? We got you.
Okay,
Got
I
you.
accept. Okay.
Zawadi, you ready?
I'm ready. Greetings
right, awesome.
and good morning.
Morning.
What I realize is that sometimes when I get the text from Shawnee from the Woo community, and I know I need to be on, I just hit the button. And that's what I did this morning. And I'm really clear that this conversation is for me. And one, I want to say thank you, deep appreciation. Years ago, I participated in a ritual with Malidoma when he came to Harlem. I used to do sweat lodges. And what this conversation brings about is how I stopped doing ritual.
Wow.
And I'm sure if I have to think about it, I've done little things in between, but not a big, continuous, concerted effort.
Mhm.
And I don't know what's coming next, but I just know that this is where I need to be so I
Oh,
can continue that work. So,
yeah.
and I'm a member of the Water Clan.
Okay, so you're water. All right.
And at the
this
time,
is-
I will say this, I didn't even understand that because I was relating it to astrology, and I had a lot of earth in my chart. And so it was an interesting dynamic for the year that I was in the program.
Mhm.
But as you spoke this morning, I got really clear about being water.
Oh, good. See, astrology is a very viable divination system, just like I Ching and the Chinese with their 12 animals and the tarot cards. All of those are divination systems, and they all have something in common. This is just indigenous to African culture. And so you are water, and this is your year. And
yes.
And water is going to hang around for 3 more months, but this coming year is fire. See, you are the reason George Floyd could have justice, because people became alert, consciousness awoke, regestation, reconciliation, rebirthing. All of that is water. You are responsible for the great resignation, the water people, you see. So one of the rituals I would do just as a water person before it leaves out of here, if you could get by a body of water, I don't know, where are you in New York?
I'm in New York. That is no issue for me because one of the things that I would do was go to the water.
Okay, good.
So, but please continue.
Okay, so your intent is to re-cleanse, regestate, clear the psyche so you can begin your with more intensity your rituals again. So you're going to take a quart of the organic milk, the one that has the cream on top, to the river. That's your preparation right there, going to get the milk. And then you're going to the river and you're going to invoke spirit. Your intent, what you want to do is get back into the rituals. So your psyche is in need of cleansing all the stuff that has been on you we have gone through some trying times these last 2 years. I have not seen anything like it. And I'm at least 305 now. So you go to the river, and your intent is to cleanse your psyche. So you're asking the spirit of the river Some people call her Mamawati.
Mhm.
Some people
Mhm.
say Oshun, I think.
Mhm.
Some people, there's another name, and then the Yoruba have, and then there's the male Olakun, who's at the deepest part. In the Dagara, we have another name for water, but it
Okay.
doesn't matter. You just call on the spirit of the water. They like sweets, they like milk, etc., because you're nourishing your psyche. And so you state your intent, you're cleansing your psyche so you can get back into the rituals because of all this stuff that's your intent. So you invoke spirit, you're asking spirit to help with this, because you can't do it by yourself. You're calling on the ancestors. And then after you called on spirit world, ancestors, spirit allies, seen and unseen, then you open up and give that milk as to the river. It's an offering in exchange for your cleansing of the psyche. And then
Okay.
once you pour that milk in there, and then you prepared for the ritual when you got the milk, you stated your prayer of intention. When you pour the milk, you've done the ritual, and now you end with the prayer of thanks or ashes. May it be so.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay.
All right, beautiful. Thank you, Zawadi, for saying yes, for being here. You just blessed by just this exchange we witnessed between you and Mama Amina. So Afriye, you're up. Mama Amina, they are not ready for you to go. So Afriye is up, and then Angele in that order. So Afriye, you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Greetings, Mama Mina.
Reading.
When you were saying the numbers, the last number of my year is a 9. So that's what mineral, right?
Yes. You are the keeper of the memory, the artist, the storyteller, the conduit, the community person, the writer, the singer, the dancer, the historian, et cetera, et cetera.
So I was wanting to ask you, is there anything I need to help balance me?
Well, I don't know that you're out of balance. It depends on your name and your time of birth and the rituals that you are doing. So I would have to, I don't know if I can mention this, but in my book, The African Medicine Wheel, is the medicine wheel chart that Mali Doma gave me. And this book is his forward. And it gives complete instructions on how to use it and how to tell if you have balance or imbalance. And then this book, 90% of the rituals in here, Mali Doma crafted himself, tells you which rituals to do, and they're classified into fire, water, earth, mineral, and nature. So I would have to do your chart. If I have time, I could do it. It doesn't take me long. And then I could tell if you even have any balances and imbalances. But honey, these last 2 years, I'm just about crazy. Sometimes I say, can I even get up to do a ritual? You know, but every morning, before I even get out of the bed, I'm doing rituals, you know, just little small, what we call maintenance rituals.
Yes, and bringing up Malidoma Somé, I met him years ago when he married a friend of mine. And just this year, I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going with him back home. I'm gonna, I called the number and I've been waiting. And the day he transitioned, a friend of mine calls me and she said he transitioned 2:00 in the morning. And this is why he has not gotten back in contact with you, because he's been in the hospital. And my heart just, well.
Tell me about it. Interacting with him for the last 31 years, I'm definitely in grief mode. And this has helped me because I said, all I can do is live his legacy. And like one of my clan people said, what a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty Great man. Yes, he was.
So
So,
thank you
uh-huh.
for engaging with me, speaking with me.
Mhm.
I
And
appreciate
I'm
it.
going to be, I wrote a public statement and it's going to be on Facebook at some place. It's just, at some point, it's just being edited right now. And so, yeah,
Thank you.
he was so much to me, meant so much.
Ashe, and we speak his name. Ashe, Ashe. Angela, you are next. Can you unmute and possibly show yourself? Thank you.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Greetings. I'm so thankful for this rising. I'm so grateful for you, Mama. I'm actually preparing to do a bit of a ritual now, so I'm in motion. So that's why my camera
Oh,
is not
great,
on.
great,
But I'm
great.
so grateful for this space. I want to ask, what is your knowing of animal ritual and like animal offering with ritual?
Animal, did you say animal?
Yes, yes.
Okay, this is the only thing I know, because the people who really deal with animals are definitely Native Americans and the Chinese. Now, Mali Doma and Sobonfu Some always say you have to learn who your animal person is, because we have those qualities. Like, I know I'm a turtle. There's a site that leads you, after a series of questions, tells you what animal you're connected with. It's very, very important. And there's also books on it too, because that animal is your protector. Like, for example, in Burkina Faso, Mali Doma and Sobonfu, their animal spirit in their tribe is the alligator. And I even have pictures where the alligator, they can call it up out of the water when they want to cross the river, and it will allow it to get on its back and take it across the river. And the deep thing is, when they call the alligators, the grandfather, the oldest one, comes out of the river first. The others cannot even appear until he comes. Like I said, I've got pictures of it. And then that grandfather will go back into the water, and then you can call any after that. And that's them, though. It'll take them across the river. We have animals. Everybody has some animal connections. Somebody thinks dolphins, somebody says whales they're attracted to. Somebody may be equestrian or attracted to horses. Mine is a turtle, because I'm slow but steady.
Okay, and
So
so
you
with
have to know it, because that helps you with your rituals, because you have to call on all these entities, seen or unseen, spirit allies, not just anything, but those spirit entities, seen and unseen.
I say, and so with that also, Mama, is there a understanding of like animal sacrifice, offering the animal to the spirits in ritual?
Yes, we do sacrifice, but unless men are around, men are the ones. Mali Doma has trained men around the country to do what is called sweeps. And you do, for example, usually those type of sacrifices they're radical rituals, because whatever your problem is deep. It's going back in your DNA. In like, for example, what I mean by that is, if a woman has a miscarriage and she hasn't done the rituals to end the grief of that miscarriage and cleanse, then the next child she has, that energy passes on to that next child. And so now we're getting deep, or something like for me, coming from the spirit world with no fire. I had Molly Doma did a series of those sweeps for me also. And that usually involves the man. He will properly cut a chicken and then sweep it over your body. And you've invoked spirit, you've asked this chicken to sacrifice for you. It's a whole thing you have to do. And again, the men usually do the sacrifice or the sweep. And then once that's done, the chicken falls, and depending on how it falls determines if that was if it worked or not. And if it didn't work, then you may have to go back. But if it works, then sometimes it's not eaten, but sometimes those chickens have to be plucked, cleaned, and cooked. And even if you're not a meat eater, like we did a sweep in 2020. I've been a vegetarian since 1969, but I had to eat a little piece of that chicken. You see, you have to do that. And because the chicken has sacrificed itself for your healing. So you have to, recognize that. But that, we're talking about radical rituals, and they have to be led. Have you ever been to a church and seen a group of women in white? And, and there's crying going on, and they come to the aid of the people. And that's because a radical ritual is taking place in that church. And those women are ready for anybody who faints, falls out, or whatever. So when you're talking about radical rituals, you have got to have all the support. In baptismal, that's a radical ritual. You'll see many people around, so once you go into radical rituals, you got to call on support for those. Those can't be done by yourself.
Awesome. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks, Mama. This is very cleansing and healing, because I have been working with my Baba to do some of those deep rituals here. And they ritual is so powerful. And being able to manifest and tune in has just been transformative. And I'm just so grateful. And so I thank you for this time and this space and your knowing. And so as I was saying, I am also a 6. I believe you said that's water, and I'm here. I'm at the water, and I'm about to go and do some water immersion. And today is my birthday.
You have our really support too. We're with you on that ritual. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, we want to thank you, Angele, and happy birthday, beloved. Happy birthday.
Happy Earth Day.
Yes. So we have 2 more, and then we're going to begin to close out. So Inez, you are next. I see you're unmuted, so you can just start sharing.
Greetings. Thank you so much, Mama Amina. This was a powerful session. And then when you got into the numbers, and my birth year ends in 2. And I was like, no wonder why I love saunas and sweat lodges. And what I wanted to say was I really got re-present to rituals, because I come from a family of religious people, and they've done their Baptist and Pentecostal, whatever, but anything outside of that was demonic. But I chose.
They do more rituals than anybody.
Right.
They invoke spirit more than anybody. That's
exactly.
That's why Sis and Shomei said, don't even talk about the word. Just say, let's do this, this, and this.
Let's do this. And the thing is, I've done rituals from that perspective, from Buddhist perspective, from the African, and I've gotten away from it too, just like the sister said prior. And now I've gotten re-present to the doing rituals because I've gotten into Reiki, I've gotten into clarity, and now I'm a clinical sexologist working with women around their traumas and doing the womb yoga. And it's like it is so imperative now to do this. But this is what I want to ask, because I come across this with myself and with others, with women, how they come across so many women who are, or even men who are haters. I'm like, oh my God. It's like they are the hated. And it's like they're constantly doing all this energy work. And it's like, and I've even noticed me when somebody comes to me with that type of fire, then I get right back at them with that
See,
fire.
and it could be, see, when somebody has that, the worst thing that can happen to anybody is not to be able to deliver your gift. That's the source of illness. It's the source of lack of identity. See, with the elements, there's two forms of identity. One is earth, which gives you your identity in terms of what group you identify with. But there's nature identity, and that's purpose. What is your gift? What is your purpose? So when people have all this venom and whatnot, it's because they're not living their gift, their purpose. They haven't gone to the community, to that 4-9, in order to deliver their gift to their like-minded group. And sometimes instead of being too much fire, it could be lack of fire, because things only have meaning where there's absence of it. I don't know if you understand that concept.
I do. Yeah,
okay.
I do.
Good.
Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
So you have to, are you mineral? Did you say, what's your element?
Fire.
And see, this year coming up is the fire year. This is your year coming up. It is the primordial element. It is the mediator between worlds. It is warmth and kindling and love, even though there's the shallow side that's still going to be happening. They're still going to be doing all this stuff. But primordial means the water has already made us alert. You're going to do some new beginnings. You're going to go through and stop all this stuff. You're going to have a spark. So it's going to be up to you to live your gift, which is to warn people of what can happen. Every time you have a dream, record it. Every time you have something to say it. If you want to write about it or whatever, I would have to do your chart to see what your other elements, your stronger elements are, but you are a fire element. You're only one element. So you are the visionary. So a fire person, what comes out of the mouth of a fire person is like money in the bank. So write about it, say it, speak about it, dream about it. And those so-called haters, you've got to call them out. I mean, you don't want to get into a fight with them. You got to call them out. It was just like I was on the bus the other day, and there was a guy who didn't have on a mask, and he was just cursing and talking. And this one sister said, "Bus driver, just let him off. It doesn't have to be a stop. Just pull over and let him off." And then this one brother said, "Brother, put on your mask." And he put on his mask. People were calling him out. And then he had nerve enough to tell me I was stepping on his weed. I said, I don't even know how to spell weed. And I looked at my foot and he had dropped a bag of weed and it was under my foot. And he's saying I stepped on it. So I picked it up and gave it to him. And he didn't say anything. And I said, "You're welcome." And he said, "Thank you." You know, so it's like fire people have to call people out on stuff. In a warmth, kindling love way, not the negative side of fire. Don't get up and slap them. Just, you know.
Sometimes I feel like doing that sometimes.
Yeah, because you see into the future. Let's see, administration is 8:47. So I guess we must be ending, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Inez. But we have one more and then we're going to pivot to end. This has been a powerful experience. So grateful for it. And clearly you need to come back, or we invite you to come back. You don't need to do anything so that we can explore more. So Brandon, you will be our final sharer. So please unmute yourself and come on camera.
Good morning, family. Good morning, Mama Amina. You've done something for me this morning. All week it's been happening, and I guess what keeps coming up is this whole idea of integrating the parts. So you talked a lot about Christianity and in the church culture. That's my whole life. I'm a 5th generation preacher, in the Methodist tradition. Right now I'm a Baptist preacher, but I'm 33. I've been in church probably 34 years.
I hear you. You were there when you were
I was
being
conceived.
married
I'm
by
almost
your
certain I was
husband.
conceived in the church. Yeah.
I hear you.
But just the whole idea of ritual, it's always been something that I've just naturally gravitated to. Coming from a traditional church where we would have rituals, but we didn't put those words in with those particular wording to it. As I grew older and started to get more into African spirituality, I started seeing some of those connections. And I guess one of the big things, a big takeaway for me, let me put it that way, is that when I look back historically over the faith of Christianity, I think the damage that was done was when Eurocentric hands got involved with the spread of Christianity. Most people don't even realize that Christianity was in Africa long before it got to Europe.
Right, St. Augustine, the African who was the originator, yes.
And so the fact that we've always been into rituals and we've always understood them, I think what this experience for me has done is really look to reclaim what our people have always done, without separating spirituality and religion, without separating one element from the other. And then as a numerologist, that was kind of what my training with the thought was doing. And as a numerologist, once you start talking about numbers and the elements, I was like, wait, hold up.
Yes, I love numbers.
So I guess I would be a nature person. The last digit of my birthday is an 8. I mean, my birth year is an 8.
Yes, your nature, the strong intuition, you transform and change and take people to the next level. You have strong intuition. You see into the present. Nobody can put anything over on you. It's your nature to make changes. Ashe.
Thank you so much, Ashe. I am complete. That's all I needed to hear.
Or rehear.
We can't do without you. We can't do without you.
Amen. So it has been such a phenomenal journey with you, Mama Amina. You are just such a light and a gift to the world. I was telling everybody, I'm like, you must come to this session. I love this woman. I'm in love with this woman. I've been waiting for her. Another mama in my life, another guide. And so appreciate you for saying yes to Mama Ma, who I also love. To come in here and to create this space. So much information shared. We dropped the books in the chat, and please do go and read. Maybe we'll start a woo book experience where we'll all read the same book. And Malidoma, our new ancestor, I actually think this is me talking, not you saying this, Mama Amina, but it's like he was a walking ancestor, like in the flesh. like carrying that technology and that energy with him. It's like he came back through and brought some of the ancestral energy with him, like where he had been, and then brought it and then went back, and he's going to come back again in some other form. And it's such a beautiful thing. It's like never ending energy, never destroyed. So thank you for being part of that legacy, and just carrying on this message and this training and development for us. Is just so on point. So we're going to close out. So family, get ready, stay in, because we get an opportunity to bless Mama Amina with love offerings. But let's start with the special offer she has for us. And so you get to choose, Mama Amina, between number 4 and number 38. You, myself, and Chantel are 1, 2, and 3. So let's start from 4 to 38 and pick your 2 numbers, so that 2 participants in this space will receive a complimentary book. And it'll be sent to you, mailed to you by Mama Amina once we select. So it can be, you can receive and start your journey of evolution around ritual. And I want to tell you a quick, funny, Mama Amina. The community may not notice it, but if you hone in on the black and white book, Common Daily Ritual Practices by Linda Johnson or Mama Amina, you see a bottle of spirits with a brown paper bag around it. And Chantel was like, wait a minute, why this image? And I was like, yo, this is for the brothers that be pouring libation on the corner.
That's right. This is for the homies who ain't here. Whenever they open a bottle, they do the ritual.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
And I mean, we've seen it in movies. I don't know if it was Cooley High or what movie it was, but definitely like they bring that up, and folks don't even know what they're doing, but they're amplifying our ancestors and speaking their name. So it's such a beautiful thing. And I love that you chose that. It's provocative, it's evocative, and it's familiar, you know, for us as our people and as part of our people and our culture. So pick your 2 numbers, Mama Amina.
Okay, they already picked their numbers.
No, you pick 2 numbers, and whoever the 2 people. No. You select 2 numbers, one between 2 numbers between 4 and 38. You tell us what they are, and then we'll tell you the names of the people who received the book.
Oh, okay. 10 and 35.
All right. So Chantel, if you can do the counting for us, number 10 and 35. Remember to start at 4. So go beneath Mama Amina's name and start there. And then we'll see who has received these gifts. And yes, I'm excited for
10
them.
is a masculine number and 35 is a feminine number.
Ashe. Yes, we need that balance. All right. So as we wait for that to be declared by Chantel, I'm going to move forward and share with you that here is the contact information for Mama Amina. So please do screenshot this or write it down. We also dropped it in the chat, so you don't have to write it down. We'll drop it in again so that you can receive that information, and then you can be in touch and go to her website so you can experience her awesomeness there, and then follow up with her beyond this session.
I got it.
Awesome. What you got?
I got Deborah and Teresa Scott.
Deborah McKinney?
It just says Deborah.
All right. So who's the Deborah in the space? We don't want to make assumptions.
She, her, and she and her are the pronouns in parentheses.
Okay. It's Deborah McKinney.
Hi, Deborah McKinney. So are you accepting of the gift that Mama Amina has for you?
Very much so. Yes. Thank you.
All right. And did you see the email so that you can email her so she can get your mailing address?
Yes.
Yes.
As soon as I get the mailing addresses, come Christmas Day, I'm going to be at the post office. So
Yes, right. It'll be cheaper then, right, Mama? And who was the second person?
But
Teresa Scott.
It'll be
What? Teresa Scott, one up here. Teresa Scott got the book.
Yes. Thank you, Mama.
All right. Look at you, magical woman, Teresa. Already manifesting. All right. Now, this is my bestest part. I love.
I have one is Common Daily Rituals, one is African Medicine Wheel.
Okay.
But did they want to pick, or should I just?
You select. You do your choosing. You choose for them. We don't want a virtual battle up in here. So you choose and use your intuition, and then they'll receive and be blessed by the exploration of ritual from you, and then also Baba Malidoma. All right, so I'm doing my favorite part next, which is to invite this community to share your coins with Mama Amina, share your resources, share your money energy. You know, in the woo space, money stands for my own natural energy yield. And so we invite you to bring your own natural energy yield into this space by utilizing either Zelle or QuickPay. And you utilize the email soulleadershipdevelopment@gmail.com for Zelle or QuickPay, and then Cash App, $Spirit of a Woman. Mama Amina's code is 485LAJ, Linda Amina Johnson, LAJ. So make sure you put that on so we know that it's her session. And we just, when you think about ritual, how we engage our money. Like, I love that Chantel is an admin today. Like, she burns the ancestral money. She does a session on securing the bag. Like, our relationships with money for 2022, like, we must transform how we engage that energy space, because we are master manifestors, but we forget, and we keep forgetting, and then we operate like we don't know how to manifest it, but we do. So I'm thankful to Mama Amina for opening up the way for us to recognize that we can activate our dominant element. We can activate what our numbers call for and what our call is for this lifetime. And I'm going to ask you to engage in a practice ritual process of sharing your worth and your wealth. And I see them coming in right now. Thank y'all for doing that. You'll be blessed as a result of doing that. All right, so moving forward, tomorrow, not tomorrow, Sunday, because we take a break on Friday and Saturdays. Join us, Mama Amina's guests who have come in and been so giving and generative and expressive. Please do come back, join this community. Join us on Sunday for our first day of Kwanzaa. It's Kwanzaa time, y'all, and that's the title. Umoja Unity is going to be unpacked and facilitated by Zakia Z. Talib Bey, who is a powerful leader and member in this space, and it'll be her first time. She conjured this too, and we look forward to co-creating that sacred space with her on Sunday. So set your alarms, invite guests, and let's celebrate the first day of Kwanzaa with our sister and our Wu community.
Yes.
All right, so. Yes, exactly. The Wu Nation welcomes all new members, all folks. We claim you as members ahead of time, not just visiting. We say in this space, don't hit it and quit it, but come consistently and come confidently and come with your mind, heart, and spirit open to learn, elevate, and ascend, because this is what this community is about. So if you are here for the first time, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here, for waking up, for engaging in this sacred conversation, and we invite you to do more. Our schedule for the week is Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. You can find us in this same space with the same link from 7 to 8:30 a.m. On Mondays and Wednesdays is 7 to 7:30. Sometimes we run longer, but the bottom line is that you will be blessed by any time spent in this space. If you want to receive text reminders for the session, you can type or send your request to 74121 and type the words or text the words Wu Nation, fully capitalized in all one word, so that we can receive your request and then begin to text you and remind you in the mornings to join us. We also have Wu swag. So listen, I haven't seen a whole lot of purchases. So today, it's not too late to purchase a gift for yourself or someone else, mugs to drink tea or coffee, or to move your energy and drink whatever herbs that you need to drink so that you can be prepared to move through this season of winter, and then also prevent yourself from getting COVID. T-shirts to wake yourself up by wearing our affirming message, which is to wake up everybody by just being you. A sleeve for your laptop, totes to carry your belongings, your ritual items, I will say, a journal to write about your rituals, just all of that good stuff that makes this experience with Wu magical. So Chantel, if you can please drop in the bit.ly/Wu swag with the HTTP to lead, so you can click the link and make your purchases. And then I just want to thank you, everybody, for the time spent, for the energy exchanged, for the support of this powerful negotiation of ritual as a conduit for an amplified, transformed life. We ask that you register each week so that you can receive information about our weekly offerings, the bios, the headshots, and the session titles and summaries. So ritual, that's in my brain, bit.ly Wake Up Movement, and then join our Facebook page, private or public, bit.ly Wu Community, private, bit.ly Wu Nation, public, please screenshot this. Instagram at Wake Up Everybody Virtual, YouTube bit.ly woo on YouTube, and email us if you have information, ideas, or feedback and testimonial, info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And then one more offering before we celebrate this awesome wonder that is Mama Amina. If you're interested in joining the Wake Up Everybody volunteer team, please do. We need more admins in the morning as we make this transition and people continue to evolve and manifest, as was mentioned earlier. And what did you say, Mama Amina? What is this the time of? Oh, the year of resignation, or when people are like, I'm out of here, I'm going to start my own business, I'm going to release this job. What is it called?
Yeah, they're calling it the Great Resignation.
The Great Resignation.
The Great Depression, the Great Recession. This is the Great Resignation. That's what I've been told.
Yes, I love it.
It's the water year that has made people woke.
Ashe, thank you. Yep. So we invite you to, if you're going to resign, use your extra time to come in and volunteer for the Woo Nation so we can keep evolving and growing. And family, we're working on our Woo anthology. So listen, get ready because we're about to do some awesome things. So let me take this screen share down, open up the space for us to celebrate and unmute ourselves so that we can honor what we have received so generously from this sister. So everybody unmute yourself if you would and just let it rip, y'all.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you. I knew you would be
Thank you, Mama Amina.
This has been a powerful session.
Thank you for educating us.
Thank you so much.
Let's
Thank
move
you.
forward,
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was so inspiring.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Knowledge,
Feel like
Oh,
a
you
wonderful
need your book. I need both
Yeah.
books.
job, y'all.
I just purchased both.
Thank you.
Love you, Mama Amina. Love you, Shawnee.
Thank
Got a
you,
lot of
Mama.
mailing out to do.
Y'all
I
appreciate
cannot
it.
wait. Thank you.
And other people that need you
Thank
with the
you.
work that you're doing. So
Thank you for educating us.
continue good health
Thank you
and
for
love
pouring
my
and
into
number.
us.
and may you have a
Thank you.
wonderful path into 2020.
Oh, wow. Love that lady
I just
right
purchased both my books.
there. Love you.
Awesome.
Peace.
Hey, family, how y'all doing? Mwah.
Peace, family.
Hey,
You
Big
gotta come back. You
Brother.
gotta come back to us and educate us.
Thank you so much. Please come back. We need a part 2 and 3.
And I accept. I'm
Love y'all. This has been wonderful. Mhm. Mama, welcome.
Hey.
you.